Hi, I'm Chad Stickrath. I'm an internal medicine hospitalist and an assistant dean for medical education here at the University of Colorado School of Medicine. I'm excited today to tell you about our post-clerkship or Alpine-Summit phase of our new medical student TREC curriculum. The TREC curriculum at the University of Colorado is a mountain-themed version of our four-year curriculum where we integrate the three scientific pillars, basic medical science, clinical science, and health system science, across our four-year curriculum. Our pre-clerkship phase is called the Plains. Our core clerkship phase is called the Foothills. And our post-clerkship phase is called the Alpine-Summit. Here is a one-line representation of our four-year curriculum, and you can see that the pre-clerkship phase encompasses the first year of medical school, while students spend their second year in the core clerkship phase, and then move on to the Alpine-Summit for years 3 and 4. Technically, the Alpine runs from the beginning of third year to match, and then between match day and graduation is the Summit. The Alpine-Summit has a number of components or requirements that students complete across the third and fourth year. I'll briefly tell you about each of these components. Overall, the Alpine-Summit phase has a big picture vision and a number of goals that we'd like students to accomplish across the phase. Through a highly tailored curriculum, guided by an individual learning plan developed in conjunction with their coach, their specialty advisors, and other mentors, students will deepen their knowledge and skills as well-rounded physicians in training, choose and prepare for their residency, and enhance their ability to positively transform the health of their future community beyond their direct clinical practice. By the end of the phase, they will add depth and breadth to their education. They'll select a specialty, apply for residency, interview, and match. They'll strengthen skills needed for their chosen career path, including skills needed to lead transformation. They'll fill gaps in their education and ensure that all their required components are completed. And they'll explore areas of medicine that interest them that they might never have a chance to explore again. Here's a big picture calendar overview of what the Alpine-Summit phase looks like, broken down into years 3 and years 4. From a big picture standpoint, students finish their core clerkships, take a week off, and then they begin their third year with the required advanced science courses before going into dedicated Step 1 study time. After returning from winter break, students complete 2 weeks of their trail requirement and 2 weeks of the base camp, and then they enter into an individualized, flexible space, all the light blue, where students complete acting internships and electives and other components to meet their requirements. They start to wrap up here with match week in year 4. Between match and graduation, they take a 4-week transition to residency course. So let me briefly tell you about our key components in the Alpine-Summit curriculum. So students start the beginning of their third year with the Advanced Science Course curriculum. This is 13 weeks in length, where students learn required advanced scientific concepts. We took advanced basic medical science concepts and clinical science concepts that we used to teach in the pre-clerkship phase and in the core clerkship phase and redistributed them to the beginning of third year, the beginning of the post-clerkship phase. Those redistributed topics fell into 3 key domains: cardiovascular connections, advanced immunology, and advanced neurosciences. Across this 13-week semester, the students complete these 3 courses together in an integrated and interleaved way across the semester. So they learn these key required scientific concepts in several different ways. Each week, they have some pre-work and a didactic day where they learn concepts. That didactic day rotates among the 3 courses that are listed here. Students also have time for independent learning. They have modules and pre-work to complete, and they do an oral case presentation or capstone project. They work on that throughout the semester and present that to classmates and faculty near the end of the semester. In addition to the didactic learning components of the advanced science courses, students learn these science concepts by being in the clinical space, the advanced subspecialty clinical space during these courses. So students immerse in 1 month per course of clinical experiences. So students may spend their first month in the cardiovascular connections clinical experiences and then rotate to the advanced immunology and advanced neuroscience clinical components for the course. Within that month, at least 2 weeks of the month, students are in an immersive or immersion experience where they spend 1 to 2 weeks with the same team, the same preceptor, potentially seeing the same patients. They really immerse in the experience. And then they spend a couple weeks in enrichment experiences, which are shorter experiences that provide breadth and depth to their learning. So a schedule for a student might look something like this. This would be the first 4 weeks for this particular student. And in this month, they are doing cardiovascular clinical experiences. So in this example, they're with the congestive heart failure inpatient service for the first week, and then they're with the cardiac intensive care unit for week 2. Weeks 3 and 4 are their enrichment weeks, and so they do some cardiac interventional experiences and echo. They have some time for extended learning and might meet with some advisors, compass guides, etc. You'll also notice that Monday here is their didactic day. So in week 1, they have a cardiovascular didactic. That's all students, no matter what clinical month they're on, will have the same didactic on that Monday morning, and it rotates to a different course. And so in this case, neuro has a didactic in the afternoon. Week 2, it rotates to immunology didactic and then a cardiovascular didactic, and you can see it continues to rotate throughout the semester. In this example, this student would move from 1 month in the cardiovascular clinical space to month 2 in the advanced immunology clinical space. Their continuity weeks here are spent on an infectious disease inpatient consult service for the first 2 weeks. And then their enrichment experience includes things like pediatric allergy testing, some extended learning time, and time to meet with compass guides and advisors, think about career planning, potentially add some step study or some research time. We ask students before they start the advanced science courses for their preferences around providing care to adults or pediatrics or procedural preferences. And when we schedule these clinical experiences, we do try to minimize the new clinical sites that students go to. We try to overlap with sites that they were at during their core clerkship year so that we minimize the cognitive load for them and the credentialing work for us. So following their semester of advanced science courses, students take their step 1 dedicated study and exam time. They go on winter break, and then they come back and complete their next component, which is 2 weeks of the trail curriculum. You'll see on this calendar, students complete 2 weeks of trails in January of their 3rd year and 2 weeks of trails in September of their 4th year. So the trails are a leadership and change agency curriculum that are provided in a given context. Students actually match into one of 5 trails in which they'll learn their leadership skills, change agency, and deepen their knowledge within that specific trail. The 5 trails are listed here: bioethics and humanities, medical education, health systems and community leadership, research trail, and the One Health trail. You'll notice that 4 of the trails are based at the Anschutz Medical Campus, and 2 trails have bases at the Fort Collins branch. Any student from any campus can take any of the trails, but many of the activities are located at wherever they are based. So again, students do 2 weeks in their 3rd year and 2 weeks in their 4th year of classroom-based learning, primarily panels, small group learning, reflective work, et cetera, during those 2-week experiences. They also complete asynchronous required activities during the rest of their 3rd and 4th year related to their trail. So for example, someone in the medical education trail might be working on a curriculum project during their 3rd and 4th year, and or doing some peer teaching during their 3rd and 4th year. Or students in the health systems and community leadership trail might go to the state capitol and learn about how health policy is implemented and impacted there. So students participate in the trail kind of throughout the 3rd and 4th year. It's another learning cohort that they go forth with. The next component that I'm going to tell you about, the next series of components, are the components that occur in the blue boxes here, which are flexible and individualized. So students are choosing from a menu of options to complete these requirements or these components during the blue boxes here. So during a lot of their 3rd and 4th year. During that time frame, students complete a traditional required core acting internship. So a number of our intensive clinical courses in the post-clerkship phase help us accomplish certain graduation requirements and count as required acting internships. Students also complete 28 weeks at least of other electives. Those can be research electives, clinical electives, didactic electives, awake rotations in the blue boxes. They are also required to complete an ICU course. So we have new 2-week ICU courses, which have a formal didactic component and a formal simulated component, in addition to 2 clinical weeks in the ICU. And we have some more traditional 4-week ICU acting internships, either of which count for the critical care or ICU care course requirement. Students also select from a menu and take a 1-month integrated science selective. So the integrated science selectives are 4-week courses in the post-clerkship phase that integrate biomedical and clinical science learning in various didactic, clinical, lab settings to help students learn about cutting-edge science in a given field and provide a way of thinking about how to advance the edge of the evidence, advance clinical care, and encourage self-directed learning for the students. So the menu includes courses such as advanced concepts in nutrition, culinary medicine, climate and health, race and medicine, artificial intelligence and health, global health and underserved populations, and cancer biology. These are offered at different times throughout the 3rd and 4th year, and students can pick which course and which time works best for them. The last major component of the Alpine-Summit that's unique to the Alpine-Summit that I will tell you about occurs in the yellow. So at each key transition point in our curriculum, we have a base camp that helps students transition into that phase. So the Alpine Base Camp, which gets students ready for acting internships and electives, occurs here right after their trails before they start their acting internship and elective time frame. And following match week, when they know what they're going into, but before they graduate, they have a 4-week base camp that is our transition to residency prep course. So the transition to residency prep course and all the base camps as they go across the 4-year curriculum increasingly allow students to become more specialized in the way they're learning content and the context in which they're learning content. These are sort of clinical context. So you can see in our transition to residency base camp, students can pick from a number of different cohorts where they will learn different versions of common content and then some specific content that may just be in their domain. In addition, I should mention that across the whole four-year curriculum, students have lots of opportunities to do research, and they are required to do a longitudinal mentored scholarly activity to foster self-directed lifelong learning over the course of their time as a medical student. So they work with a faculty mentor from early on in medical school to develop a scholarly project, and then they implement that throughout the medical student curriculum, and they present it near the end of their time in medical school. So I hope you enjoyed the quick tour across the Alpine-Summit phase of our CU School of Medicine Trek medical student curriculum. And I look forward to answering questions or providing more information if I can be of service. My email is there. Thank you.